Hi, Trevor Lim here, founder of BusinessRescue.com. Today, in my Business Rescue series of expert interviews, I have a very special guest and a friend of mine. She's currently an assistant trainer for T. Half Acre and Success Resources in a series of millionaire mind intensive seminars. She's also a sales trainer and coach for the Global Sales Academy at Flight Center Limited, and she's very passionate about personal development and the power of the mind. She believes that in order to be successful in business and in life, you require business development and personal development, and her mission in life is to inspire millions of people to raise their vibration to a higher level of success, fulfillment, and abundance by coaching them on their mindset and how to discover their own hidden brilliance. So today, welcome Sandra. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with us. Would you like to tell my viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself, Sandra?
Yes, hi Trevi, thank you for having me. Yeah, as you just said, I'm an assistant trainer for T. Half Acre, and I've been with Flight Center for nearly 10 years, and I've been doing sales training and coaching the last year. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and as you mentioned, I'm very passionate about personal development. It's getting into personal development that allowed me to change my life and my family's life and take it to another level. So it's something that I love sharing, and I love helping people around me doing the same to grow themselves and just to be able to take their lives to another level.
Wow. So from being a sales trainer all the way to become a speaker internationally, wow, that's very two different ends. So tell us about your journey and how do you get to become a speaker? And I'm assuming that's your passion in life, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yes. I'm a people person for sure, so I need to be surrounded by people, and I need to, just have that human being connection. And for me, everything changed the moment that I started growing myself and getting into personal development, doing seminars, reading books. The way it started for me was I've got two little girls who are 3 and 6 years old. And when I had my second baby, I started to feel like there was something missing in my life. Like surely there was something else to life than just having to work hard your whole life just to earn a living, and then, what happens after that. And when I went back to work after being on maternity leave, I felt like, well, I've got the lifestyle, I've got a great job, I make really good money, but I don't have the time to be with my kids. And then I could see with my friends that decided to stay home with the kids, they couldn't do anything they wanted to do because they couldn't afford the lifestyle. So I was a bit stuck in that space of, why can we not have both? Like, I don't want to have to choose and give one up or the other. And that's what attracted me to getting into personal development. I heard for the very first time in my life that we actually control our lives with the power of our thoughts, and that was something that just resonated with me so much. And I started doing research, and one book led to another book to someone invited me to a seminar and another seminar, and so I got involved into doing all the Quantum Leap seminars from T. Half Acre, and I just totally transformed my life. And when I was doing the seminars, I was like, oh my God, this is something that I would totally love to do. I would love to be a trainer perhaps, and not that I always knew this is what I wanted to do. You know how people say that we're all born with a gift and we all came to this world for a reason, but I certainly didn't know which was mine. Although once I found that that's what I wanted to do, looking back in my life, it kind of makes sense. Like when I was little, I used to, and I had to study. I was good with numbers, but I wasn't good with reading and memorizing. So whenever I had to study for school, the only way that I would get myself to memorize things would be I would go downstairs at my parents' house in the living room, and I would stand on the step and pretend that the couches in the living room, it was my audience.
Wow.
And I would, the stuff that I had to memorize, I would say it out loud and, with body movements and stuff, just as if I was presenting in front of an audience. And that way, the stuff would stay in my head. And I used to love doing that. It was, my little fantasy. There was no one there. But then as I grew up, when I was at uni, all my friends used to come and ask me to help them study. So I used to go home, get up at 4 in the morning, study, and then the next day I would get my friends together in one of the little rooms at the library from school, and there was a little board, and I would just go over all the things that I studied, and that's how I would help them study for the exam, and then they would do really well, so they would love it. They would go like, Sandra, can we do it again? And I used to love it, but it's funny how it never clicked in my head that obviously I had that passion and gift for being a teacher. And it's until I was doing all these seminars and, growing and expanding myself that I went, wow, this is what I would love to do. And, all my friends always, as I've been growing up, they've been the type of people that would go, I don't know what it is, Sandra, but every time I come to see you, I feel better than I did before I came to you. And, it's just that natural ability, I suppose, of being able to motivate those around me. And that's why when I decided I wanted to be a trainer for Harv, and I was blessed enough to be chosen to start assistant training for him, everything clicked, and I went, oh my God, of course, it makes sense. I can't believe that I didn't realize before that this is my passion. But when you don't know, you've got like the blindfold, and
Yes.
it can be just around the corner from your eye, but you can't see it. So, and all of a sudden, once you open the blinkers, it's like, oh my God, it's always been there. But it's until I decided to grow myself and expand that all of a sudden I took the blinkers away and I was able to see what was around the corner. So
That is so true, Sandra. I mean, I've generally for business owners, when they want to grow their business or they want to become successful in what they want to do, the last thing they think of is personal development. And yet, personal development is the stepping stone that is required to get you from A to B. But yet, people, because they cannot monetize personal development or they cannot put a value to it, that people often forget about it. But in your case, it was through personal development that you actually open up your eyes and see what you actually love doing. And now what you're doing right now is your passion and your purpose in life. And how do you feel about living in your own passion and in life? How do you feel about it?
oh, look, it's amazing. It's beyond description, the fulfillment that, I get from finally living into my passion. Like, I realize that there's so many things I've done, but, you can do it for any other reason, and there's only so long you can do it for, because it's not that true purpose that drives that reason behind. So, and, when I'm finally being in my element, like every time I'm teaching or I'm on a stage, or it's like, there's nothing else I could be doing that would make me feel as fulfilled. And, it just allows me to be fully present whenever I'm in front of an audience, and, whether it's running a workshop at work or on a stage at seminars, it's like being fully present and connected, because my mind can't be anywhere else. I've got to be there. And, it's better than meditating, I suppose, just being able to connect with yourself and get that I suppose fulfillment. Is so rewarding to know that I can have an impact on other people's lives, and for me it's like a way of giving back, because if others did that to me and allowed me to change my life, now I feel like it's my my dharma of duty to give back and allow other people to transform. And I think we don't realize, I certainly didn't realize that even just my story inspires people around and makes them go, oh my God, if she can do it, I can do it. And this is how quick it can happen.
Yes, which actually reminds me, I mean, in Half Echo within the Quantum Leap program, I mean, how many students are there in any one time that will sign up for Quantum Leap? Sandra, how many would you say?
That sign up for Quantum Leap?
Yeah, yes, for each
hundreds
session.
every time. Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah, so hundreds out of hundreds of students, and that is per continent, I'm assuming, and that's per seminar. And each year they probably have 3 or 4 seminars per continent. And out of all these students, everyone I've met, they all wanted to be on stage. But yet, Sandra, you got there. You became a presenter and a speaker on stage, and become the assistant trainer among everyone else. So tell us your secrets. How do you actually get there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, to be honest, I think a very important thing, and we learned this from Harv, is that first of all, you need to be a whatever it takes person. And, even though I officially started my journey in personal development just a couple of years ago, I realized that it started way before then, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. But I was always, kind of growing myself. And you've probably heard of the saying that says, whenever you're feeling uncomfortable or scared or nervous or apprehensive about doing something, is because you're out of your comfort zone and you're actually growing and expanding. And, I always like to describe it as a rubber band, like when you stretch it really hard and you hold it there for a while and you let it go, it doesn't come back to its normal size. It stays somewhere in between, and that's what happens with us. Every time we push ourselves out of our comfort zone, we've grown, so it doesn't come back to the same size that we were. And what happened for me is doing the seminars and stuff, I realized that when I did Train the Trainer, I realized that if I wanted to be trainer for Harv, I needed to take the next step, which was making the stage. And believe it or not, when I did Train the Trainer, I did it in March last year, I didn't even get on a stage once. Like the whole 5 days, I wanted to do it. I was so petrified that I was just like, whenever I raised my hand for something, I would raise it like hoping, don't pick me, don't pick me. And, and I had it in the back of my head, I really need to go to making the stage, and, I need to get in on the Harv's radio to make sure that he notices me, and, But I just didn't have the courage. I didn't have the belief that I could do it. And what happened is when I went to do Warrior Camp in September last year in Malaysia, that's when everything changed. Warrior Camp was just like, just transforming your life, like taking, I suppose, all those roadblocks and limiting beliefs away. And that was the very first time I had the courage to get up on a stage and say in front of all these hundreds of people that I'm committed to do whatever it takes to become a trainer for T. Harv Eker. And Majin, who was the trainer at the time, he made me say it again and again and again until the point that I believed it. Like, it felt like it was real. And it's amazing once you put that vibration of energy out there, because, I made it public. All of a sudden I was going to be held accountable for what I said, I suppose. Things started to happen. So I came back home, and all of a sudden I started to believe that I could do it. So I put on my vision board. I'm a big fan of vision boards. I've got like a whole wall in my bedroom.
Wow.
And yeah, I would look at it every day. I would visualize on it every day. You've probably heard that, the power of the mind and visualizing is like 99%, and 1% is the whole of taking action. And every morning I would wake up at 5 in the morning. I would sit in my bed. I would look at the, my goals on my wall. And I would just visualize a moment where I was in front of Harv presenting, and he was impressed, and he would ask me to start training with him. And I wouldn't get out of bed until I got that feeling of, oh my God, when you've got the butterflies in the stomach and my heart is like racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And, it could take 5 minutes, sometimes could take half an hour, but I wouldn't get out of bed.
Hang on. So you were just visualizing all this in your mind that Harv ask you to come and train with him every day you woke up in the morning. Is that right?
3 months.
Unbelievable. Correct. So you did that every 3 months. You visualized it, and you felt as if you were there.
Yeah. I did it since the end of September when I came back from Warrior Camp until I went to making the stage, which was early December. So yeah, just under 3 months. And every morning until I got that feeling of excitement of it's happening. And then I would just get up and, get on with my life. I wasn't thinking about it all day. I would just, have a shower, get on with my day, and so on. I would do my warrior declarations every single morning. I still do. I do them every single morning when I ground myself. And so when the big day came and it was finally time to fly to Thailand to do making the stage, it was this strange feeling when I got out of the, when I landed and I was at the airport, and I just felt, I was really, really nervous, of course. It was like, the big day was coming. But it was as if, do you know what? It couldn't be any other way. It felt so real that I just thought there's no reason why it couldn't happen. Like I felt it real for the first time, and I reckon that's when, I don't know, I manifested it. So I got to Thailand, and every morning I would drag my roommates and take them down to the beach to ground ourselves on, you've probably heard that when you ground yourself on, on the soil, on the sand, or hugging a tree. Correct. You're more in touch with nature. So I would do that. I would take them down to the beach and we would ground ourselves and we would open our arms and do our warrior declarations. And that would just give me the courage because I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep. My heart was pounding every single day. And, presenting in front of her wasn't until like 3 or 4 days down the track. So I was just getting ready and I was preparing. Sometimes I wasn't even having lunch. I was just practicing. And I just knew it was my only opportunity and I couldn't blow it away. So, the big day came and I was so nervous, but I put my hand up first. So even though I was shaking, I said, who wants to go first? And I'm like, me, jumping out of my So he was like, oh my God, this girl really wants it, doesn't she? So anyway, I just presented in front of him and he thought I was really good. And I told him I wanted to be a trainer. And he said, great, let's talk. And the next day he approached me and said that, he wanted me to start assistant training. And it was 47 of us in the room and they only chose one, and that was me.
Wow.
So it all happened the way I visualized it.
And look, and as far as I know, there's 47 people who wanted to be a trainer. I mean, there's probably how many hundreds was the last trainer I went to was 350 people. And every year I would say there's probably easily, 2,000 trainers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so the best of the best would have, from those trainer, which was part 1, would have enrolled to making a stage, and you had to compete against 47 other best of the best, and you, the only one, became the assistant trainer. Wow.
Yes, and there's people that enroll and don't turn up. That's where the whole whatever it takes person comes into play. Some people enroll, they say they want to do it, but they're not totally committed. And I suppose that's where the difference lies. When you're 100% committed and you have a big enough why, you find a way to make it happen.
Wow. So let's bring that back to this personal development. So you were from that, that little timid girl in trainer who couldn't put up a hand, and to the person who raised the hand up and said, look, it's me, call me. Do you attribute all those to personal development?
Absolutely. Had I not done all those seminars and all that work in myself, I would apply everything I learned. I mean, for a whole year, I was seriously working from 5 in the morning to, midnight, just applying, doing everything I learned, putting myself out of my comfort zone and reading books and studying and going to seminars and just expanding myself. I had a goal at the end, and I wanted to leave my job and stay home with my babies and not give up my lifestyle, if you will. And so.
Well, so if I ask you to say, look, give me maybe 10 to 20 seconds to define what personal development is. What would you define personal development is? Like in a very short sentence, what would you classify it as?
Look, personal development at the end of the day is the process of growing oneself. Just being able to expand your self-awareness, your knowledge, improving your personal skills in all areas of your life, mind, body, and spirit, so that it allows you to reach your full potential.
Yeah, well, and the fact that, you did it in a year, less than a year, to working a 9-to-5 job, and now you've quit your job and you're doing your passion for, full time, like what you love doing. And I would say not many people would actually live the kind of life they want to. And through personal development, you got there. So, for my viewers, mainly business owners, and some of them are struggling, and, they're struggling making ends meet, and due to the global economic downturn, they're having troubles, possibly even feeding the family. What would you tell them? Why would personal development be important for them?
Yeah, look, I think I truly believe that the only way to grow your results in any area of your life, from business to personal, is by growing yourself. Think about it this way: if you are an A-size person, then you're getting A-size results. So you can't expect to get C-size results when you're only an A-size person. So the only way to get C-size results is by growing yourself first to become that C-size person, so that then you can attract the results of the same size. And people think that it's just about business skills, but the truth is that to be successful in business, you pretty much need 50% business skills, 50% personal development. And when I was managing branches for Flight Center for the last pretty much 10 years. Anything that I would learn for me, I would then go and teach them on my morning meeting. I would get my little team, and I wasn't even aware that it was personal development, but if I read a book and I loved something about it, I would then give them a chapter and give them homework and go and run a little meeting with my team. Do you know what I mean? And like, I was a novice with Flight Center. I had been with them for less than 12 months when I was asked to open a brand new branch.
Wow.
And I had no idea what I was doing myself. They gave me 3 brand new novices who were still in training. And I was meant to train them when I didn't even know what I was doing myself. But you know what it's like when you're thrown in the deep, you just have no choice but to learn how to swim. And anything that I would learn from myself, I would then go and apply on them. So I wouldn't just do it on the business side of things, but I would go and teach them so that they could improve their life as well, their personal life, and not just their business life. But of course, the more I help them improve their personal lives, the happier they would be at work, the much better results they would produce. They didn't want to leave. They wanted to work with me. I moved across 5 branches in Flight Center, and whenever I moved, my old staff would ask to be relocated as well because they wanted to work with me, because
wow.
They just got that personal development through me, and that's what it allows us to do well in business, just by growing ourselves. So, businesses that are struggling, the first thing they need to do is grow themselves so that they can then start growing their results and expand the results that they get in the businesses.
Well, you're speaking like a true leader. Unknowingly by yourself, you were just helping others. And by helping others, the business grew. You grew as you taught people as well. And these people has respect for you. And that's why they wanted to follow wherever you went. And, that's basically a trait of a true leader. So, well done, Sandra. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference between, just being a manager, someone that just runs the logistics of a business, versus, as you said, being a leader, someone that actually has a vision and cares for their people. To make sure that they are being fulfilled, so that then they can perform and give you better results at work. One of the times that I went back from maternity leave, I took over a branch that was very run down. They had lost a lot of money. And when I walked in, I was trying to study the business, going, I wonder what's happening. Why are they not doing well? I went through all the handbooks, all the figures, all the finances, and I went to observe them a couple of times, how they did things, how they treated the clients. And, it was fascinating, Trevi. Like, the person that was in charge of that business before I took over, she was very organized, very anal. So things were all things were done down to the T. Reconciliations, finances, the way they spoke to the clients, I couldn't follow them. Like, I was watching them going, I don't understand why they're losing so much money when they seem to be doing everything perfectly. So when I finally took over, I realized all they were lacking was the belief that they could do well. They were so used to be the bottom business of the area, out of the whatever amount of businesses, they were always the last one. So for them, it was normal just to do halfway figures. And, they didn't have to teach them any business skills. They knew how to talk to the clients. They knew how to do all the back-end systems, the finances, everything. They were a really good team, very organized. Everyone did the jobs. No one would dare not to do the jobs. And I just went, wow, I loved it, because I thought, wow, this is the easy part. I love all the lacking is belief. And that's all I did. I walked in and I said, no, it's not okay. We need to raise the bar. We can do better. So I started to do like morning meetings with them to work on themselves, and I would give them homework, and they would hate it. I would walk in, give them photocopies of one chapter of a book, and they would be like, oh, do we have to do this? And I'm like, yes. And I'm going to ask you questions, and I want to get you to present the next week. And, things that you would think, what does that have to do with my job? But right. I started helping them grow themselves. And you know, one of them, she was sick all the time. She had never been overseas. She wanted to travel. She wanted to lose weight. She wanted to stop being sick. So I started to work on her with that. And, you know, it's amazing. Everything changed. And within 2 months, we made profit for the first time in the shop. And, you know, we had a massive turnaround that year. And it was mainly just from working with my guys, working in themselves, not in the business, allowing them to grow and just raising their belief that they could do it. And the results just changed like that.
Wow. Amazing. So you were giving them, obviously, chapters of books to read. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Half of them loved it. Half of them hated it. It's like, why do I have to do this?
So is there a particular book that you tend to give to, you know, fellow workers or fellow colleagues that you will help to grow them? What's your favorite book? Tell us. Well,
look, the one I gave them at the time that I was working at is from Jack Canfield, and it was how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And he actually had a chapter on how to deliver a workshop to a mastermind group. And, you know, pretty much gave me all the guidance of how to run it. So after I read the book, I would come and study how to run that workshop. And so I would do it once a week with my team. I would give them the little chapter that's relevant. I got them to do the vision boards for their personal life. And then we did one for our business goals together because I wanted them to improve their lives as well. Then they, you know, the happier they are, the better they're going to perform for me at work. So that's a book that I did it. How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be by Jack Canfield. And however, I have to say, my very first book I read that got me into all this was actually Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's when I was desperately looking for something. And you know, when you're looking, you just find that it shows up. And one day I'm just walking across the library getting a video for my daughter or something, and it jumped at me, like something grabbed my attention. I turned around and I could see this thing, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and you know, it's pretty, it's colorful, and I like colors, so that grabbed my attention.
That grabbed your attention.
I took it home, and she pretty much had a description of, if these are the issues you have, then these are the limiting beliefs that you have, and then these are the affirmations that you have to work on to reframe those limiting beliefs. And that was pretty much my introduction to personal development. From that book, I went on to another, and so on.
Wow. So if you were to tell, you know, your students or your friends, if you want to get started, let's say today I want to get started on personal development, you know, what kind of steps would they need to take? You know, what would be the simplest step-by-step they can take to get on this path of personal development?
Well, look, obviously, reading is always an easy start. You know, getting a book and starting to open your awareness. You probably heard that the first step to change is awareness, just being aware. I'm actually about to start a little mastermind group, if you will, that I'm planning to do weekly on Hangouts, and just with 9 people, a small group, and basically, you know, starting by having like a one-on-one coaching session first to find out where they are and where it is that they want to go, and then weekly sessions as a team to just start expanding their self-awareness and raising the vibration of energy so that they can start growing and attracting better results in all areas of their life. So that's a good step to start.
Excellent. And so for all the listeners who's listening right now, you know, how would their lives look like, you know, in a week's time, you know, when they take on these steps? How would their lives look like in a week's time, a month's time, you know, a year's time, and 3 years' time? What would their lives be like?
Look, in a week's time, I would say there would be a huge amount of excitement just from knowing that, wow, I actually have control over my life. Like, I actually can change it. You know, people just believe that it's a matter of luck, or, you know, whether you are a lucky person, or I used to be called that a lot, actually. When I was studying at uni, I just wanted to finish because I wanted to travel around the world. And my parents said, you can't go until you finish. So I wanted to finish, not because of any other reason. I didn't like what I was studying. But I just wanted to finish because that was my ticket to freedom. That meant that I could go around traveling the world and stuff. I study like crazy. I would be up at 4, 3 in the morning if I needed to study. Every summer, I wouldn't take holidays. I would just take extra summer subjects just to finish. I was the first one to graduate from my generation. And I used to hate people come and tell me, oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. I was like, I'm not lucky, hello. I've hardly slept. I've been up since 3 in the morning studying. It's not that, the answers just came to me in the exam. But anyway, some people think that it's just luck or not luck. And, we can call it like that. But at the end of the day, we create our luck. So, starting in personal development, how it's going to look like for them in a week is they're going to be very excited just to realize that they can take control of their lives and that they pretty much have the power to design their destiny, if you will. So, in a few months' time, they're going to start raising the vibration, they're going to start growing, so they're going to start to see things changing in their lives because if they want something to change, they need to change themselves. So, in a year time, I would hope that they are on the right path to discovering the passion and living into it. And, in 3 years, they should be having a much more fulfilling life and just being able to live their passion.
And probably a life they would never imagine they could have been in,
That's true.
Back. I remember the days where I was still working for people, other employers for 80 hours a week, and it was a terrible life, and I never thought I could be in the position where I am today. And I think it's all I put it down is to self-development and getting correct mentors and teachers who can teach you that, isn't it, Sandra?
I agree. Such a blessing. Yeah.
And what would you think are the common roadblocks or key roadblocks that would stop someone from taking on the path of personal development? What's the biggest roadblock people have to deal with?
I believe that the biggest roadblock is their environment. I've learned from one of my amazing mentors, Alex Mandosian, about the 9 environments, and I love that topic because the environment is stronger than your willpower. So you might have the best of intentions to grow, to change, to do this, to do that, but then you get back into your environment, which could be, the people that you love around you, could be your home, could be work, could be your friends, and it's so easy to be pulled back and get into the old habits. So, that's the biggest roadblock I find, that people that don't know how to design the right environment. The wrong environment will be stronger than the willpower.
And that's so true. I mean, the paradox is all your loved ones, they have no ill intentions of stopping you from moving forward, but it's because I think a lot of them is the fear of the unknown or fear of who are you going to become that they try to hold you back and hold you back to where you are. They want
Absolutely.
to protect you and also protect themselves at the same time, isn't it? And they're the biggest roadblock in your life. And so what would you recommend to deal with your environment? What are strategies for unlocking all these roadblocks, or even your environment? Where would you start?
Well, look, the first one, as I said before, is self-awareness. Being aware of, is this environment supportive of my growth, or is this environment holding me back? And if so, how can I start to redesign that environment? I know for me, at home, I was very lucky that I had all the support in the world, and my husband was always like, "Yeah, do it." But for me, a big thing was my circle of friends. And as you said, Trevi, it's not that they do it on purpose or they don't want you to grow. It's just that they do it unconsciously because of their own past programming. So I find that with a lot of my very close friends that I love dearly, they, not that they were very negative, but they just couldn't understand what I was doing. I couldn't have those conversations of, this is what I'm doing, and for them to be excited and supportive at all. So I would find going back into old habits, going back onto unconsciously negative conversations. It was just so common to get along friends and they're complaining about this, that, and that, and then I would find myself going, oh my God, why am I doing the same? So it took a lot of awareness on my part, and then conscious effort of, not that I said, that's it, I'm not talking to all of you anymore, but I had to start putting a bit of space as to, how often was I seeing them and things like that, because when you're changing, it's very easy to fall back into the old habits, until you've got them down path and you've created all those new neurological pathways with more, reassuring habits. It's very easy to fall back. So I just knew I needed to see them less often until I was strong enough for me to bring them up rather than for them to bring me down. And, it all started by the awareness of, what, I need to get myself a new circle of friends who are on the same journey, friends who are, supportive and understanding of what I'm doing, so that I don't feel like a weirdo for doing something completely different to what they're doing. And, it was tough, because being a people person myself, I need to be surrounded with people, and I love having friends and stuff, but I just had to put a bit of distance on the friends that I knew weren't supportive, weren't helping me create that supportive environment for my growth.
And probably those friends of yours, who see you walk away from them, they probably thought you joined some sort of cult. and the fact is, when they see you 3 months later or 6 months later down the track, and they realize you're such a different person, and they would get interested. There's something different about you, Sandra. What happened? Tell us more about it, and they will want to learn. And that's where you can bring them to the next level, and that's how you can serve them and support them. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. For people, it could be their work environment, it could be their home environment. It's just a matter of being aware of what environment is not supportive, so that you can redesign it and make the changes that you need to make.
Right. Okay. So look, to let all our members know. So the biggest issue people have is when they heard about something, they get excited about it, and they make up decisions. They want to do something about it, but a few days later, they find that they've never taken a step to do it. So I always believe in getting people to do the first physical action step now, straight away. What can they do now that would put them a step forward towards personal development? What would you recommend them to do?
Well, look, for anyone that would like to join my little mastermind group that I'm going to start doing weekly, they can contact me directly. I'll just share this screen. Oh, is that working?
Yes. Blue box it. Yep, got it.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So, they can contact me via email. Is probably the best way, with their name, email address, their Skype ID, so that I can have a one-on-one coaching session to find out what is it that they're expecting to get out of it. And then obviously the G+ name, because we're going to do it via Hangouts. And I'm going to allow them to come in just like you and I are in here, so that way they can share with others, they can hold each other accountable to anything they commit to do, and they can learn from each other, because many times we learn more from somebody else than your own thing, because you can kind of identify yourself with what someone else might be going through, and you just, when you're blocked and you can't get ideas on how to get out of something that you feel you're stuck with, knowing someone else that's going through the same kind of gives you that awareness of, oh, I can do that, the ideas, and obviously the support to know that you're not the only person going through that. And as I said, more than anything, just being able to hold each other accountable, because as you know, accountability, I know you and I have the same awesome mentor, so accountability is very important, because if you put your alarm clock to go to the gym or for a run at 5 in the morning in the middle of winter when it's dark and cold, most of the times we'll press the snooze button and go, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. It's a bit cold and that. But, if you have a friend waiting for you or a personal trainer waiting for you out on the street, cold and dark, then you'll get up no matter what, because you're being held accountable because there's someone else there. You don't want to let them down.
Yes.
Exactly.
Especially when you hit them in advance.
Exactly. And that's why I want to do this as a group, because, I find that it's a lot more powerful than just doing it on your own. And you know how it's like. It's not all pink and beautiful. There's tough moments that we go through and the obstacles that we need that power of the community to hold us accountable to be able to get us through all that. There's let me just share this.
And more
screen.
importantly, is a safe environment where everyone can share their thoughts and their feelings and their difficulties that they're facing, and not being worried to get laughed at, isn't it?
Exactly, judgment-free zone. Yes, absolutely. I put in here I'm a big fan of this chart. It's the Maslow steps of learning.
Yes.
And this is with anything, since we're kids until we're adults, anything we learn, we go through it. And at the moment, the results that we get is because we're operating from that unconsciously competent stage at the top.
Yes.
And in order to get better, we need to come down the steps to start doing something, to learn something new, and then to start doing something consciously competent that, we're going to learn in the mastermind group how to do it. But the trick is that you have to think about it. You don't do it automatically, because our past programming is going to keep on bringing us back to the old habits. So, just mastering a new habit, a new level of vibration of energy is going to take a lot of time and repetition, consistency of doing something new on that consciously competent stage before we can do it in automatic. So, and that's why by, having these hangouts weekly, whenever you start to go back down, it's kind of like, oh, no, I need to raise my energy, raise my vibration, feel good again, so that I can start attracting better things in my life.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So for everyone who wants to learn more from Sandra, email her at sandra.hassan@bigpond.com. That's where you can get in contact with her. So Sandra, before we wrap it up, I would like to ask you, what is your $1 million advice for anyone? What would you tell them, based on your years of experience? What would be the one that you tell them?
Well, my biggest advice for people is to feel good. I know it's not easy, but being aware of when you're not feeling good and just knowing what it's going to take for me to change that. Because the longer that you allow yourself not to feel good, the longer you go into that lower vibration, which doesn't attract anything good in your life. So, for me, I'm very conscious every day. How am I feeling? How can I feel better? How can I smile? How can I feel happy? Because the more happy, the more grateful that I feel, the more, the better things I attract into my life. And gratitude is probably my biggest advice. The more grateful that we feel for what we currently have, versus worrying about what we don't have, is what brings more of that into our life. Every morning, and you probably learn this from Blair as well, that every morning I do my 10 gratitude things while I'm bouncing on my trampoline, and just to get into that space of gratitude and feeling blessed and grateful for what you have, so that you can start attracting more of it and focusing on the positive. So feel good and feel grateful.
Excellent. Well, as we feel good and we're grateful for things, more will be attracted to you. And because people like to be attracted to people who's happy and not grumpy, if you can become happy from the morning you start, you're going to attract more customers, better. You have a better vibration among your staff members, vibration among your colleagues, and everything will start multiplying, and the ripple effect will grow. And it starts with being grateful for what you have every morning. And that's something which I do personally as well, Sandra. So every morning I will watch a YouTube video. That's the easiest way to, before I get out of bed, watch a YouTube video that's on something that is with gratitude. And I find that that my next project will be creating a foundation to help orphans to get to help to spread their kind of gratitude over to the world, because their gratitude they have is way much more than what we can ever feel or ever have. And by experiencing that gratitude, I find that I'm so much lower in level in personal development compared to them, and they have nothing to go with. That's why it's always a vision for me to help them that way. And the Sandra, you as you have seen and witnessed that through gratitude we all can become better people, and as we can spread that, everyone, the whole world will be a better place, isn't it?
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for being here with us. I appreciate your time. Look, for everyone who wants to know more about Sandra, remember to email her at sandra.hassan@bigpodden.com, and she can help you in any areas of personal development. As we all know, personal development is 50% of what you need to know, and the other 50% is strategies. And most people have the strategies. I can teach the strategies, but with personal development, we need someone else who is up there with us, or who's up there above us, that they can bring us to their level and get us to the next level. So thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Trevi, for your time. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. I enjoyed it too. Signing off now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.